Award-winning former police officer and criminal justice adjunct professor Garland Nixon hosts News Views Fridays at 6 p.m. Tune in to hear a refreshing angle on today's state of affairs and other issues other media intentionally overlook. Find the episodes on iTunes Podcast and Google Play Music. Only on your station for Jazz and Justice, 89.3 FM, Washington.
Whoop, tap, tap, a tap, tap, whap, bop, tap, a tap, tap. Rosemary in the bag, tied around my neck for my protection. I'm walking around, big old sack on my back, coming in your direction. What kind of tea do you like? I got it. I'm the medicine man, herb from the land, yeah. Oh, I'm the herb man, come see me. Oh, I'm the herb man, you all come see me. See, rosemary, calm your nerves, got peppermint leaf to get rid of my fever. I keep periwinkle to get some love now. Oh, I gotta hug me close to make my backbone strong. Gold cola tonic for my blood, dandelion for my bones, y'all. Alkali to keep away flies. Hot lady cayenne for my pressure. Oh, I'm the herb man, come to see me. Oh, I'm the herb man, you all come see me. Get the children out the way now. No, you can't smoke this, sir. This is for salad. Yes, salad.
And good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Dr. Theodore Watkins, and welcome to another program of To Your Health. And we're excited. We have another exciting program scheduled for you. Now, I got a call the other day from my buddy, Dr. Meir Schneider, and he said, "Doc, I got something for you." So, of course, knowing Dr. Schneider, I figured we're going to be talking about something with vision. You know, he had a new book out. We said, "No, Doc, I want to talk about the immune system." Dr. Schneider, what is it you know about the immune system? He said, "Doc, there's some things that we can do to build the immune system." And so I want to welcome Dr. Meir Schneider. Dr. Schneider is well known to this station and has helped us numerous times with our pledge drives and various programs, and has shared his information. And so I want to welcome him all the way from San Francisco, California, Dr. Meir Schneider. Welcome, Dr. Schneider.
Hey, nice to be on your show, Ted. And I want to tell you something, Dr. Watkins. The first thing people should do for their immune system is listen to your show, because they have to change their nutrition as soon as they can. And so I can tell you that I worked with the immune system for the last 45 years because I worked with people who had autoimmune problems.
Okay.
For example, with rheumatoid arthritis, as it's written in my book, Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing, which I really recommend my audience.
Excellent book.
Thank you. So on page 4 and page 155, they can read about my exercises for the immune system. So there's quite a few things to say about it. Number one, we live in a modern time, but we have a nervous system of ancient time. And especially what I'm talking about is the autonomic nervous system. And so for all the people to understand, there's two kinds of nervous systems in the body. One is called somatic. I just decide to lift my arm up. Well, I lifted my arm up, and that is somatic system. But then there's the autonomic nervous system that comes to regulate the activities in the body. So, for example, when I will be active and I will run, and my heart will beat quicker, I'm working with a part of it which is called sympathetic. When I sit and digest, and by the way, this is one of the things that I'm sure you're telling your audience again and again, when you sit to digest, you don't think bad thoughts, you don't think about a million other things, you just sit down, chew slowly.
Relax and enjoy yourself.
Exactly. So that is the parasympathetic nervous system. And there's a fantastic balance between the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. But what happened in modern age violated that balance, basically took that balance out of kilter. In the past, it was rather simple. A person 20,000 years ago would walk in the jungle, and there is a lion, and he knows the lion is hungry. Because sometimes ancient people knew when lions are not hungry and they could ignore them. But if the lion is hungry, few things would happen to that person. The pupils would widen, even if it's not daytime. If you saw anyone who is under fear, the pupils are widening. The blood will stop running to the skin, so in case they were scratched, they wouldn't bleed to death. The kidneys would stop filtering immediately, and the blood would stop running to the digestive system out of housekeeping. I mean, what do you need to digest if you're about to be digested yourself pretty soon? And what would happen is that there will be much norepinephrine thrown into the system, the heart will beat 5 times as quick, and the immune system will be suppressed immediately. And the reason why the immune system is going to be suppressed is that you don't want to spend energy on something unnecessary. Because the necessity is to escape the lion, if you can, or fight the lion if you have a good spear for that. These days it's not fair to fight the lions, we have rifles. But then it was fair fight. And or do what zebras do. When lions visit zebras' camps and zebras notice it way in advance, and they know they cannot outrun the lions, what they do is they lie frozen. So the lions think that they're dead, so they don't eat them. So then when the lions leave, they stand up and they shake for 3 hours. So basically what happens to us, we have a suppression of the parasympathetic system, and the sympathetic system is being way overworked in our life. That's why somebody wrote for me a postcard. This is a joke, though. Meir, don't tell me to relax. My stress is the only thing that holds me together. So the point is, that stress is what basically suppresses our immune system, and we need to start and activate it. So I've worked with several exercises. Some I invented, and some I learned from others, where basically we inhale and we exhale. Normally, I tell people to inhale and exhale through the nose, but in this case, more like through the mouth, like like a choo-choo train, to contract the sphincters, to contract the bladder and let go, to push on the bladder, let go, contract the anal sphincter, let go, push on it, let go, to move the abdomen forward and backwards, to strengthen the body, to stick the tongue out. I know it's impolite, but also to stick it back in and lick inside your mouth. I always tell people, take a cup so you can spit on it. It's not polite to spit on the floor. But that's one thing. The other thing is...
And by doing this, what are you doing? You're stimulating what?
What I'm doing is I am actually activating fully the sympathetic nervous system.
The sympathetic nervous system.
Right. I'm activating it fully, so then after you activate it, it drops. Because that's what happens in a real situation. If somebody attacks you with a knife, your sympathetic nervous system starts to work fully. And if you remained alive after that, you start to be relaxed because your system works better. There's that place for complete tension and complete relaxation. And so what you allow is the tension to express itself in your body. Because here's what happens. We had lions in the forest. That was very clear. A real danger. Wolves in the forest. Real danger. But when a lawyer writes you a letter that you owe him all the money you ever made, or when the IRS is after you, or when your business goes down, then you cannot run against anyone. You cannot you cannot fight with anything. You really have to you basically have a suppression of your sympathetic nervous system, but then it's not active all the way. The way it normally was acting is the sympathetic works all the way, then it drops, and then the parasympathetic kicks in, and then they start to work in harmony. But now there is no harmony, there's overuse of the sympathetic, and there's no release to that sympathetic. You're not going to punch your boss because he told you to leave if you want to keep your job. You're not going to yell at someone that you shouldn't be yelling. So you cannot really express yourself. So the main thing to do is to constrict the body as much as you can and let the constriction drop. And once it's dropping, then you feel a sense of relaxation and your body can work much better. Another thing is changes of temperature. Now I understand you're at 58 degrees in DC. It's wonderful temperature to go out, to be in the sun for 15, 20 minutes or even a little bit more. It's a very, very good time to do whatever you can do to be outdoors, and it's a very, very good time for you to be in water, like water therapy. Change between hot and cold all you can to bring more circulation and to change the cortisol in your body. So
you're talking about hydrotherapy.
Right.
What type of hydrotherapy?
Right. They don't allow us to go to pools these days, and we understand why. But here in San Francisco, there's a cold ocean, and I sometimes bathe in it before I take a nice hot shower, and it brings so much more circulation. It really affects the immune system. There's lately a research in UCSF that shows that the immune system gets better for swimmers in the bay who swim in 50 degrees, basically, and then they get warmer. I'm not asking anyone else to do it. All I'm saying is change water temperature. It's going to make a huge, huge difference for you. So again.
So now, in the past, I've always thought they did it just the opposite. They would do the hot, and then they would end up with the cold.
That's good. Cold and hot interchangeably, but I do the cold first.
You do the cold first.
Yeah. I do the cold first, but you can do cold, hot, cold. There's no problem. Anytime you create changes of temperature, you get more blood flow. You get more blood flow, you get a lot of the immune system. Now, if we talk further, how does the immune system works, basically? And it is by recognizing what it knows, basically. So if there is a known bacteria, the immune system is going to fight with that bacteria. If there's a known virus, the immune system is going to fight with that virus. Most immunization, I've heard one beautiful in Cuba, they're trying to make to boost the immune system. But normally, most immunization is that you give a vaccine to someone that basically gives you the virus in very small quantities so they know you will recognize it, defeat it, and then you have all the memory of how to defeat that particular virus. So there are a few things that we can do these days. For example, I think it's a good idea to have 6 feet apart from the next person that you see. I even do more than that. But then if a person points towards you, point your head away so you don't get the viruses. But if you did get a virus in the outdoors, most likely you will not have much problem with it. It's like small quantities that creates immunity. Problem is when you get indoors and there is circulated air, the person near you can be badly infected with that virus because now you gave them a bunch of viruses that you started to fight with, destroyed some of them by now, and you could really infect them. So I understand to begin with the shelter-in-place order, and I also understand the fact that people stayed away from each other all they could. That I understand very, very well. What I think, however, we need to do is to be outdoors a lot. to be outdoors in the sun, in the wind, with the elements. So we would be able to actually energize the body, because sitting indoors, especially if it's a small space, and not being sick, but sitting indoors just because we're afraid to get sick, can actually weaken our immune system with time. Sitting and being in fear. Fear is one of the worst things for the immune system, if we can think about it. So we need to eat good. We need to exercise, but not exaggerate the exercise. Some people work way too hard to build more muscles, to look much more in shape. And truth of the matter is, that is not good for the system. Exercising in moderation, but regularly, getting the right vitamins and minerals from the food regularly, and doing the exercise that I suggest in my book, Awakening, which is, again, if any audience will ask me to, I'll be glad to guide you through 5 minutes of exercises that will be very good for the immune system. Those are the things to do. And then you have a strong immune system. Sooner or later, we're going to meet other people who carry the corona. And we need to be able to face it with a good immune system that can destroy it. In fact, we even heard that many, many more people have it or had it by now than were discovered. As soon as they're going to be tested, I'm not a prophet, but I'm willing to predict that around 30% of people will have it. So you've got to have a good immune system to withstand it.
So you're saying that if you have a good, strong immune system, that your body can actually help to fight off the virus.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to tell you this. I don't want to confuse all the audience. I'll say this quickly to get rid of it. The body mainly sends you white blood cells and lymph when there is a bacterial infection or bacterial attack, before there is an infection. And and the lymph and the white blood cells, if they recognize that particular virus, need to form a certain shape, like a hat, around that virus to squeeze it and kill it, basically. Okay? So you probably know, Dr. Watkins, that we have a bacteria which is called Helicobacter pylori.
Yes, Helicobacter pylori.
Right. Pylori, right, thank you for correcting me, which basically is a result of one of our ancestors or ancestor tribe killed a tiger, ate a sick tiger, and since then we have that bacteria. And which shows you, by the way, how much we need to not kill wild animals, really, but as humanity. But the point is that many people carry that bacteria. Now, unlike viruses cannot be killed by any medication, only by our immune system. But unlike viruses, bacteria can be destroyed by antibiotics. What they found out that when they killed the bacteria with antibiotics, people start to have asthma attacks and all kinds of allergies. And why is that? The lymph fought with the bacteria regularly. And if you destroyed that bacteria, you didn't produce as much lymph that regulated the immune system. And here is the point. Our immune system needs regulation. The main white blood cells, basically the neutrophils, don't really know very well how to kill viruses, if you ask me. I think it's more the eosinophil and the basophil that do that. But the problem is they could go in huge numbers, and instead of killing the virus, they could kill your body, basically. So if you have memory in the lymph, and as you know, lymph is much older than blood. Lymph is between 5 and 20 years old in the body. Blood is being constantly destroyed and recreated. And especially when we talk about white blood cells, they increase in numbers in a matter of minutes. So if the lymph remembers, it will know the virus when it comes, and it will regulate the activity with the virus. I really think that once you know that virus, you could destroy it in minutes. You wouldn't even know you could be sick. And so the point is for us to create deep relaxation within our body. And as I said, I said, I have whole classes where I basically get them to constrict the sphincters and relax the sphincters, all of them, all the ring-shaped muscles in the body. And at the same time, to have enough sun exposure, which your profession tries to warn us constantly not to have, but to have enough sun exposure.
I don't warn that.
Yeah. You're a maverick. And for that reason, I'm proud of you. But anyway, what I want to say is that the important thing is to be able to adjust to the elements, and they will set us free. Because
so I want people to be able to understand. So what you're saying is that we need to relax the sphincters,
First of all, contract them and let them contract all the way to the limit, and then automatically they relax.
All right. So which sphincters are you talking about? Like the
Okay. First of all, I'm talking about
like the rectal sphincter.
First of all, the mouth. The ring shape of the mouth is not a sphincter, but the ring shape of the mouth to squeeze the lips and to do this movement of that really will automatically work with your trachea and will start to work on the bottom third of the trachea, which is more of smooth muscles. And then what you want to work is with the bladder sphincter, with women with the vaginal sphincter, with men the anal sphincter, and of course men and women, the anal sphincter, to also tighten your abdominal muscles lying on your back, moving the legs in rotating motion, then to bend your knees and to move the abdomen up and down without air and then with air, and to create all the tension you can. I always tell people squeeze a thumb against 3 fingers and do and then contract your bladder, relax your bladder, push on your bladder, relax your bladder. To do this kind of exercises, as I'm telling people to do, what it leads to is a situation where basically then the body relaxes. Because, there was one lady who I was lecturing that in one of my classes, and she said, I understand what you're saying. She said she was mugged, and she resisted the mugging. And when she went to the hospital, she was injured because the mugger hurt her. And they asked her, you must be very tense. She said, no, I'm completely relaxed. So the fact that she fought that mugger, while I really don't recommend it to anyone, those people could be dangerous, but the fact that she fought and didn't hold it in relaxed her. And you can see it in mice. If you put 100 mice in one cage and 100 mice in separate cages, and you will electrify the mice in the big cage and the ones in the separate cages. The ones in the big cage will have half a year gone, will have part of their fur taken away, will have all kinds of injuries because they bite each other when they get shocked. But the ones in separate cages start to develop cancer and many, many other problems. So if you hold things in and don't find a physical way to release what you hold in, the end result of it could be that you are weakening your whole system and especially your immune system. It doesn't work well when the autonomic nervous system is not in full control and in full balance.
So stimulation and relaxation.
Exactly.
Stimulation and relaxation. The flight.
Right.
You're going to do it, but you do it for a short period of time.
Exactly.
As opposed to having continuous tension, stress in your life.
Exactly. And it doesn't go away because sometimes you cannot do anything about life stress. Look what happens now. Poor small businesses get closed because they cannot apply for loans. Look what happens when there's a death in the family, when there is worries about someone in the family. The stress doesn't go away. So you have to find a way to release it. Somebody says you can never bring happiness to life. You can never get happiness from life. You have to bring it to life. So, because no matter how good your circumstances, they can get worse in a minute. So the point is, you need to find a way to get rid of the tension that you have. And the best way to get rid of it is actually to induce it with contraction for a short period of time, as you said, about 10 minutes or so. And if you do it regularly, and especially these days, it can make a huge difference.
So once a day,
twice
or you do it several times a day?
I would say at least twice a day, if not more.
Okay.
And then when we go back to life and when things get better, at least do it once every other day. Build up that tension. This is one place in my book that most people didn't look at, to how to work with the immune system. Because when I wrote it, people wanted to know more what you do with vision, what you do with arthritis, what you do with high blood pressure. But I really think that is a very important part of working on our body, boosting our immune system. And I want to say something else which is so important. These days, people think that they are in shape if they have extra muscles. So, many people who could be bar bouncers and could be very strong, they could be very strong in their 20s and 30s, and you can't even hug them in their 70s because they're suffering so much. Their body is basically very tense. They have pain all the time. And I think we should build up more muscles. We should lift weights, but not to the extent that people do it these days. Do it a little bit less. And at the same time, you want to build stronger central nervous system. I have a lot of nice exercises of coordination where you move the feet in one direction and the head in the opposite direction. And we need to build up a good immune system. If you tell me, Theodore, that you are strong, then for me it means that you have strong immune system, that you have a strong central nervous system with good control, and that you have good muscles. But everybody talks today about good muscles, strong muscles. The real strength is to also build your immune system. And that's the big deal. The corona may come and go, may pass. I already sent you a video about a few doctors who think otherwise than most. But it will come and it will go. But there'll be another virus sooner or later. And we need to have a good immune system that faces all pathogens. That's what it's built to do. One of the things we have to do is modify, sometimes we have to, but modify the use of penicillin and antibiotics because they're being prescribed all over the place.
This is Dr. Theodore Watkins, and the program is To Your Health. And today we have as our guest Dr. Meir Schneider. And Dr. Schneider is sharing with us some things that we can do to build our immune system. And actually, he's sharing things that you perhaps have not thought of in the past. But the immune system is very, very important. And one of the things he's talked about is doing so by dealing with the stress, getting rid of the stress, increasing stress, and then decreasing stress. That's very interesting. I hadn't thought about it quite that way. The number here is 202-588-0893. That's 202-588-0893. Give us a call with questions or comments. Yes, Dr. Schneider.
Wonderful, wonderful. So what I want to say to everybody again, yes, build up your muscles, but don't over-exercise. That doesn't make your immune system
it's interesting. When they looked at one study some years ago at athletes that had the shortest life expectancy, it was the weight builder, the bodybuilder. All right, and it's because they were doing these heavy weights, and they would die of a heart attack. They had strong physical muscles, but aerobically they were weak, and so they started them doing lighter weights and more repetitions, so that they could they would be able to build up their arterial system too. The number here is 202-588-0893, 202-588-0893. This is Dr. Watkins with Dr. Schneider. Yes, caller, you're on the line.
Yes, sir. I have a couple questions for Dr. Schneider. Okay. I use when got out of the bed this morning, my bed is tall, so I just swing my legs back and forth like a child. And he mentioned if you swing your neck or your head along with that in some kind of rhythm, if that would be a calming or good exercise. That's one question. And the other question, I had one other question, if you could respond to that.
Sure. So can I respond to this in the second 1 second?
Yes, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm so happy that you've done the exercise when you went out of bed. It's so good to exercise. And especially these days when we have built up stress, it's really good to respond to it with productive movement that, in your case, loosens up your hip. So if you would do the exercise that I suggest, your head will do opposite than your leg. So, for example, when the leg goes back, the head goes forward. When the leg goes forward, the head goes back. And so you do opposite than the leg. And that means that you're going to start to develop control over your central nervous system. But that is not the work on the autonomic nervous system. That is different. That is like building up stress and letting that stress go. So I normally tell people inhale and exhale through your nose. But in this case, inhale through the nose and exhale through your mouth like a choo-choo train, like
Yeah. That's my second question. You know, I had congestion. I had very much chest congestion. So when I go to bed, I would take not a very big deep breath. I would take a deep breath and hold it up to 1 minute, and then I got up to 1 minute 40 seconds, and then I would release it slowly through my mouth. And I found that the warm air coming out would help to break up all the congestion. Then I'd have to jump out of bed and spit out the phlegm that I had released that had helped. So could you respond to that, please?
I think you're doing for yourself a wonderful exercise. And before you do it, what my suggestion is, stand up, move your arm in rotating motion, and tap on your chest. And tap on your chest while you do it. And then also, you know, the bunger balls, you know, like balls that have a loose handle, and you can hit yourself with that ball, and it really relaxes your body. Get my book, Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing. It's going to be your best friend.
And your book is, let me get to write it down. Or you just say it. You say it, and I will.
Awakening the Power of Self-Healing.
Yeah. So what I'll do is do the recording. I'll look at the recording. Thank you. I'll get that book then.
Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing is the name of
Your Power. I'm sorry. Your Power. That's right.
Okay. All right.
Awakening Your Power individually. And when that book came out, that book is 2 years old, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we were the first ones to interview Dr. Schneider about that book.
Okay.
Yes, Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing.
Yes. Well, thank you, Dr.
So
Schneider. Dr. Schneider, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
The number is 202-588-0893, 202-588-0893. Let's go back to our phones. Yes, caller, you're on the line.
Hello there. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Thank y'all. It's a pleasure to bump into you guys today. I was scanning through the dials. I don't get the opportunity to do that very often, but I go to my go-to sources, and PFW has been that way for 20-something years. That said, I have a 12-year-old daughter. She's a heart patient now, and she takes medicine, lisinopril, losartan, depending on which one breaks her out. And she sometimes don't take that medicine, which I don't even, it's been a lot of years. She's had this since she was 2 years old from all the cancer therapy she got at Hopkins. And now her lower heart's not really doing a good job. And I'm just thinking there's got to be some natural things, and just your opinion. And anyway, thank goodness for you guys. I'm really fortunate to hear you guys today.
So I want to answer you. And by the way, thank you for calling. Your daughter is exactly the kind of person I'm thinking about.
I'd love you to meet her.
Thank you. I would love to meet her. So
Sorry to cut you off.
I want you to do a few things. massage her neck and stretch it a little bit. I mean, touch between the back of the skull and the first vertebrae. Pull it a little bit, and it's going to help her to breathe better, which is going to be a very good thing for you to do.
Can I tell you an important medical issue in her head area? She was radiated. She had a parotidectomy. She had a large tumor in the left side of her head that protruded out of her sideburn as a mass. The doctor continued to give her antibiotics. So she had 3 months of radiation, proton radiation in Boston, 1 year of chemotherapy at Hopkins, but her left side of her face, when you look at her right side, when you look at her, she has no parotid gland. Her face is all shrunk up, and her jaw will never grow since 2 years old. She's 12 now. And a lot of stuff in the excision went on in that area, and I will shut up. Sorry.
No, I'm happy that you're telling me that. So that case, you cannot do exactly what I told you because I did not know that. But
yes, that's why I cut you off. Sorry.
No, you didn't cut me off at all. You told me the important thing. So what you do is then start by massaging her feet gently, and then take her leg and move her leg in rotating motion to relax her hips. And then what you can do is very gently massage her neck and very gently massage her face. As gentle as a feather, I would say, as long as she likes it and doesn't get irritated by it. And I think, is it okay with you sometimes to take her to the sun for a short moment?
To the sun, sir?
Yeah.
Outside. Yeah. Only problem is getting those kids out of bed now. They're staying up all night, and my little daughters, they're scaring me so much, gentlemen. They don't get any sunlight at all the last couple of weeks. It is crazy. They're waking up, not even yet. And I speak a little better English than I sound. But that all said, they're getting up at 4 and 5 in the afternoon. This is insane. They're going to bed at 4 in the morning. I'm already asleep by 12 to get up for work. I'll shut up.
No, it's good that you're saying it. And I share your frustration. Try to tell the kids what to do. Never works. But I would say if you would be able to get them a little bit to the sun, or if someone else in your home can get them a little bit to the sun, it could somehow affect the circadian rhythm, because it's really, really bad to sleep in the day and wake up at night.
I know.
Well, I had my issues with my son about that. I can tell you that for sure. For sure.
Hey, I tell you, you guys, so many things can be said, but we're fathers. It sounds like, I don't know if everybody is, but being a father is, for me, the most amazing thing ever. It's rare in all of history. A lot of men never got to be fathers. They had children. They never nurtured a child ever. It is the most amazing thing ever. And having mine taken away from me sometimes because of court systems and all that in Prince George's County and stuff. Oh, my gosh. It's the craziest roller coaster ever. I'm just lucky to ever be a father. I have 4 daughters, and I want to get out of your way. But, we're so lucky.
I agree with you. I agree with you completely. I myself had to go through a divorce where my vision was mentioned as a reason to not have the kids as much as I have.
Oh, my gosh.
I prevailed, and, my kids love their mother. I make sure that that's the case, but they also love me to tears. I can tell you that. And I have to deal with the autism of my son. He's doing so well. It's amazing. And my daughter is doing professionally. But I would say being a father is a very satisfying thing. There are moments here, moments there. But one of the moments is telling my son to sleep earlier, Finally it works.
Yes.
So
Gentlemen,
one of the things that Dr. Schneider talked about, I think would be very helpful also for you, is to do the exercises to decrease your stress, because obviously just listening, you have a lot of stress in your life. And so you need to make sure while you're working for your daughter that you also do some things to help decrease your stress. So some of these exercises will be very, very helpful for you.
Thank you for saying that.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Yes, sir. Bye.
The number is 202-588-0893, 202-588-0893. We only have about 15 minutes, so let's get back to our phones. Just call it. You're on the line.
Hello. Yes, I was calling to just say I enjoy the program. I learned so much from listening. But I have a question. I do some of the exercise, like you say, the immune system and all of that. But one thing I do suffer with is cold hands, cold feet, all the time. Even if the temperature is 75, 80 degrees, my hands and feet stay cold. I'm on the medicine metamazole for the thyroid. So I was wondering if you have anything I can do to kind of heat up my body to keep from being so cold.
I'm so happy that you're asking, and I would say that you want to work on loosening up your hip joints and shoulder joints, and that brings much more blood flow to the hands and to the feet. And so there are many wonderful exercises in the same book, Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing, for the shoulders. If I give you one example, you lie on your side, you put your hand down and you move your shoulder in rotating motion in both directions. You tap on the tip of the shoulder and you visualize that the shoulder tip is doing the motion, and that relaxes it. So it's good to rub the hands and it's good to rub the feet, but they will work much better if the shoulders will be loosened up and the hip joints will be loosened up.
Loosen up the shoulders and
the hip joints.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
All right.
They'll make a huge difference.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's go back to our phone. Just caller, you're on the line.
Thank you, Dr. Watkins. I appreciate you and your guest. I have a question for Dr. Schneider, and that is, I've been diagnosed with macular degeneration, and I have what you call moderate macular degeneration. And do these eye vitamins, such as Preservision and Aerates 2, help? They contain a lot of artificial dyes and preservatives. Is there something more natural vitamins that I could take, or what can I do to improve my vision from the macular degeneration?
In terms of food, I would really recommend to have many antioxidants. All the berries are wonderful things. But in terms of what you can do for macular degeneration is eye exercises. By the way, this coming Friday from 1 to 3, which is 4 to 6 your time, we have a webinar, an introduction to natural vision improvement. And many of the exercises I will teach in that webinar will definitely help you with your macular degeneration. The main thing that happens to us as modern people is that we stop being curious of details. And the reason is that a lot of what we do is read, and you don't really care for the letters, you care about the contents. So sometimes you picture a whole paragraph, a whole page. Now, the macula is only 1.5% of your total photoreceptor field. So if you don't look from detail to detail, you basically degenerate it. And so the doctors only deal with humid macular degeneration, and they help people for about 5-6 years. But truth of the matter is that, in my opinion, what you need to do is look at details with curiosity. Learn the process of looking at letters one by one. Put them sometimes upside down. Close your eyes and imagine the letters being black and the page being white. More than that, look at distance. Look at, with no strain. The most important thing is scan the distance with no strain. Look at details there. And that can help your macula, because macular degeneration is the worst problem in the world right now. More people have it than any other eye disease. So I think that working on it now is important, and you will not get good advice from the doctors. You really need to learn how to exercise your eyes. And
Dr. Schneider, one of the last patients of mine that called you, she was blind. I mean, legally blind. And the first time she came in my office, I had to hold, she had to hold my elbow, and I had to lead her into my office. And I told her about you, all right? And then I put her on this diet program that I'm using, the rice diet program, and I told her to call you and do the eye exercises. Now, she didn't come to me for her eyes. She came to me for a sore on her leg. But I said, I want to help also with your eyes. The second time she came, within a month, she came in my room so fast with that little stick. I started laughing. You know, she didn't need nobody to lead her. I said, girl, you can see. In a month. And her pressure in her eyes went down. You know, the second time she came, actually I talked to her because it was during Corona. She said that the doctor said she no longer needed cataract surgery. This is in 2 months, Doc. You know, 2 months. And she was looking forward to actually coming out to see you, but she said she's going to have to wait till after the virus is under control. But the progress that she made is just phenomenal within a 2-month period of time.
Isn't that great? It's just fantastic what eye exercises can do for you, what exercises can do for you. And that's the point I'm trying to say. You don't only exercise muscles. You can exercise your nerves. You can exercise your immune system. It's very important. There's one thing I didn't talk about, but I think, Dr. Watkins, you agree with me on that one. We need to start to change our lives. For example, I don't think it is right to have offices with circulated air. We should be able to open the windows. Even in airports, we should be able to open the windows. You cannot do it in an airplane, but you can do it in the airport in several places. Even, I would say, in hotels, they basically closed all the windows. I remember how hard I had to fight with the city of San Francisco to allow me to operate my windows. It's amazing. It's amazing. But the point is, in hotels, the more expensive the hotel is, the less air you have. It's all circulated. That is not healthy. We need fresh air. What is more basic than that for your immune system? Fresh air, sun, wind, water. This is so important, and people don't get it. And sooner or later, it means you have a stronger system to face anything, whatever. I mean, I don't understand why people look at people who carry the coronavirus as villains. I mean, be proud of yourself. You were able to destroy that virus without any medical interference, and some of you were able to do it in minutes. So be proud that you have a strong immune system and keep strengthening it. And we need all to strengthen it. All 7.5 billion of us on this earth must strengthen our immune system.
The number is 202-588-0893, 202-588-0893. Let's go back to our phones. Yes, caller, you're on the line.
Hello. Thank you for
yes, caller.
This is directed to Dr. Schneider. And I'd like to know his first name, please.
Dr. Meir.
Meir in Hebrew means light.
Thank you. Okay, my question has to do with something you were saying about Helicobacter, but I didn't get it all. I was just coming into the room. Can you go over that a little bit?
Yeah, Helicobacter pylori. He was that's a bacteria that's found in the stomach.
Yeah.
And he was just talking about how we actually got that virus.
That bacteria.
That bacteria.
And the danger of destroying it with antibiotics, that we actually need to be able to live with it, maintain it, and that helps us in having more lymph in the body work with everything else.
You know, one of the things that's very good for that virus, Doc, oranges.
I believe oranges. I drink it all the time.
Yes, oranges. Right under the orange peeling is something called limonene. That's in the white. Something called limonene that actually kills that virus. But thank you so much.
You're saying that this helps the lymph nodes in some way?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right.
Watkins, that's why I want people to listen to your show. Keep listening to Dr. Watkins, because the diet he suggests for you will help every aspect of your life.
Let's go back to our phones again. Yes, caller, you're on the line.
Dr. Watkins?
Yes.
Yes, this is Ron. I really enjoyed the program today. So I wanted to ask the question: so do you think that the quarantine that we've done was helpful for the coronavirus?
Well, that's a question.
Yeah.
That's a question. It's a real complex question. I would say that in many ways, I only partially agree with it. But I don't want to be in hot water, and I don't want Dr. Watkins to be in hot water, and I don't want the station to be in hot water.
So social distancing is certainly very important, I think, in terms of understanding how this virus is transmitted. But Dr. Schneider is social distancing himself. All right. And as you said earlier, he stays more than 6 feet away. And if you look, I was look at TV the other night, and I saw they did an example where they saw someone cough, and they did it with special effects, and you could see within seconds it would travel 9 feet. So you need more than just 6 feet. But the point that he was making is that you need to also get out in the sun, in the fresh air. You need to exercise. Those things you can still do and do your social distancing.
I agree with you completely. Agree with you completely. And I would like to say that take a look at the example of Sweden and Norway in Europe. And there is some difference between them. Norway is doing little bit better for the locking in that they had. But Sweden is really close to Norway. They do practice social distancing, but they don't lock themselves in. What a difference. So they live much better life. They still wear their masks. They still make sure that they are far from each other, but they live much freer life. And when I told a family from Sweden, they called me because their daughter doesn't hear well. So I gave them some exercises and massage for their daughter. I said, be safe. They didn't know what I was talking about. Here, everybody says, be safe, be safe, be safe. They basically just go on their life pretty well there. So it's very interesting.
All right. Thank you very much. We're going to take perhaps this last call. Yes, caller, you're on the line.
Hello. Thanks for such an informative show. I kind of prefer that physical distances instead of social distancing. I think a lot of people can get the.
You're correct. It's physical distancing.
Physical distances, yes. The social distances, they may think, well, I can't FaceTime, I can't telephone, I can't this and that. That may take a little bit from it. I just had that statement to make. Thank you, sir.
No, you're absolutely correct. It's physical distancing. You want to be away from people, but you want to be in touch. It's very, very, very important. I'm going to. I've sent out for a psychiatrist and psychologist to be on the show to talk about this emotional component. It's very, very important, and we need to be aware of it. Dr. Schneider, look here. You wouldn't believe the time is gone, man. The time is gone.
I just
you talked about two things. I want you to in this next 30 seconds. Your book again that you kept talking about. What is the name of it again?
Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing.
All right. And then the second, you talked about a seminar that you're getting ready to do on Friday. What time again?
It's 1 to 3. Please register on www.self-healing.org. www.self-healing.org.
And can they get the book at the same website?
They sure can. All
right. So when you get that book, he also, of course, has the book Vision for Life, which is an excellent book, and he has several other books too. But those you want to know. And Dr. Schneider, we want to just thank you again for you always add to our program, and you just keep up your good work out there, and we're going to see you again. This is Dr. Theodore Watkins. The program is To Your Health. We're going to see you again next week.
Tap, 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 whap, bop, tap, tap, tap. Rosemary in the bag, tied around my neck for my protection. I'm walking around, big old sack on my back, coming in your direction. What kind of tea do you like? I got it. I'm the medicine man, herb from the land, yeah. Oh, I'm the herb man. Come see me. Oh, I'm the herb man. You all come see me. Me, roll back.
Good afternoon. From WPFW in Washington and WBAI in New York, I'm Darnia Samuels. Here are some headlines for this hour. Globally, there are now more than 3 million confirmed coronavirus cases, and over 209,000 people are known to have succumbed to the disease. However, at least 900,000 individuals have recovered from it. The United States still leads the world's countries in COVID-19 cases with more than 995,000. Now there are more symptoms to look out for, as the CDC recently added 6 new ones to their website. So in addition to fever, cough, and shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, the CDC cites chills, repeated shaking with chills, muscle pain, headaches, a sore throat, and a loss of taste or smell as COVID-19 warning signs. Any of these symptoms may appear 2 to 14 days after a person is exposed to the virus. Also, doctors around the United States are reporting that an alarming number of young and middle-aged people infected with coronavirus have been dying of strokes, including those who barely presented other symptoms of the disease. Nonetheless, some states have already or are starting to loosen the restrictions they had in place. For instance, in Colorado, a new safer at home policy will allow elective surgeries and retail businesses with curbside delivery to resume. In Georgia, state restaurants and theaters will be allowed to reopen today. In New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo said construction and manufacturing in less affected parts of the state may be able to open after May 15th. In Maryland, Governor Larry Hogan promised to proceed with caution, reopening the state in 3 phases, with the first phase allowing many small businesses to open and lower-risk community activities like golfing and tennis to resume, possibly in May. How soon will you be willing to travel again? Are you already planning your next vacation or trip? Well, according to a new survey conducted by Global Rescue, 77% of people are expected to make a trip by the end of October. 41% expect to make their next trip by July or earlier, and 36% are planning their initial trip sometime between August and October 2020. The percentages are in the single digits, though, for those who don't expect to travel again until the 2020 holiday season, between January and March of 2021, or sometime after April 2021. It was noted that most trips are expected to be domestic, not international, and almost 75% of them are expected to be family vacations, leisure trips to visit friends, or destination getaways. Dan Richards, the CEO of Global Rescue, which conducted the survey, also mentioned that the majority of travelers, quote, are willing to share personal medical history and travel plans to help keep themselves and those around them safe, end quote. A group of local college students are giving back to their communities during this COVID-19 pandemic. They created an online grocery delivery service called Social Distance Delivery to allow the elderly or those with pre-existing conditions to stay at home. According to their website, once a person places a grocery order online, a delivery team member will shop for you, pay for the groceries on your behalf, and bring the items to your door with no delivery fee. The recipient will pay only for the cost of the groceries, either by cash, check, or Venmo, which is a mobile payment service owned by PayPal. Social Distance Delivery hopes to make a significant impact in Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia, Bethesda, Chevy Chase, Silver Spring, Maryland, as well as Charlottesville, Virginia, and Wesley Chapel, Florida. The team of young volunteers are operating their service Monday through Sunday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Their website is socialdistancedelivery.org. Again, that's socialdistancedelivery.org. In today's weather, it's currently about 49 degrees in New York and 55 degrees in D.C. For WPFW Washington and WBAI New York, I'm Darnia Samuels. Please be safe, and thank you for listening.